Hey everybody, and welcome to the intersection of sports and marketing. I'm Brian Cristiano, and this is episode number 11 of OUTOFSCOPE. I'm going to talk about why ad blocking is good for advertisers, and I'm going to give my marketing tip of the day on why you should be using the carousel feature in the Facebook ad product. All you marketers out there need to listen to this.
Sports marketing expert Brian Cristiano.
Brian Cristiano.
Marketers and advertisers and brands always have to keep in mind, you have to play to the state of your audience. Endurance sports athletes are absolutely fanatics.
Having a Facebook page doesn't get you any business, but doing it right can be quite effective.
All right, so I'm not the first person to be talking about this. There's been a lot of chatter online. You may have seen this, that yesterday I read it on Engadget, that as people were digging through the release and notes for the new iOS 9, we're finding that there's going to be a plugin available for Safari on mobile to block advertisements. And there is a lot of talk about freaking out of, well, how is this going to affect advertisers? What's going to happen? What are we going to do? There's been a lot of talk in the past about people using ad blocking on Chrome extensions or in Firefox. Actually, I think Firefox more, because obviously Google doesn't want to block its own ads. Anyway, so this is not something totally new. Ad blocking has been around for a while. However, installing an extension in Firefox is a lot more complicated than just downloading an app from the App Store on your iPhone, and Apple seems to be encouraging it and allowing people to do so on their mobile device to block through Safari. So naturally, the reaction from marketers and advertisers is, holy crap, what are we going to do? How is this going to affect us? And how do we capitalize on this? Or how do we make adjustments? What are we going to do? And I think it's totally the opposite. This is a huge advantage. This is the time where smart advertisers, smart brands, smart marketers can go for the jugular. I think it's a super big advantage for advertisers and brands, but not for all advertisers and brands. There's going to be a lot of losers that come out of this. I don't say that lightly. I mean, I really genuinely believe it, because as we know, just in general in our industry, people love to buck the trends and pretend that technology and change is not a real thing and that everything's going to stay the same and it'll work out. And they end up going all in or putting more chips on the table into things that are dying, instead of just saying, hey, you know what? Things are changing. Let's move with the tide. Let's move with the times. I can tell you right now, there is going to be so many advertisers, so many marketers, so many brands, probably the vast majority of them, that are going to be scared of ad blocking on mobile, because mobile is so huge, everyone's eyeballs are there. And the other part of it is they're not going to know what the hell to do. And so they're going to either try to double down or try to move their marketing elsewhere, but they're not going to know where to do it. So the smart agencies, the smart marketers, the smart brands can go for the jugular on this one, while they know the rest of their competition is confused, freaking out, trying to figure it out, is scared out of their minds come this fall when iOS 9 launches and people start downloading the ad blocking app. Forget it. That is the perfect time for the smart brands to double down, go all in, and absolutely crush their competition. I think this is the most perfect opportunity. This levels the playing field for smart, smaller advertisers and brands to just go for it. Absolutely go for it. And what I mean by that is, it all is going to come down to content. It's going to come down to interaction. It's going to come down to using social platforms to market or create conversations. It's going to come down to using live engagements to engage with fans. Obviously I talk a lot about sports marketing, and if you're a team, if you're a sports brand, an endurance sport, a traditional pro sports brand, you can leverage those real events and places where people are to see these sports, to engage with them on a real human one-to-one level, and have them touching and talking to you and touching your products and talking to you and interacting. That's huge. I mean, it sounds obvious, but there needs to be more of that, because people are so bombarded with digital marketing that if they can feel like they can connect with you on a human level, it's that much more powerful. So doing it in person is fantastic, but obviously we, as marketers, we need to take advantage of tools and digital and social and other digital tools and content, and is really where we can take advantage of this and say, hey, you know what? We're going to go all in and use Facebook dark posts and use Twitter advertising and use Instagram and use Pinterest promoted pins, and not just the ad products, because obviously they're very powerful. I'm a huge believer. I know a lot of the other, new age folks, smart marketers out there, guys like Gary Vee are talking about it all the time. Clearly he's phenomenal at it. It's because this stuff works, right? And there's still so many big advertisers so far behind the ball. This stuff has been working for years, and they're still a decade behind. So it's smaller companies, more aggressive companies, more flexible companies, or companies that really see the value that can go after that, leverage it, take advantage of these platforms, get in on the newer stuff, use Periscope or streaming live now, if anybody's watching, hi. Using all these new tools to your advantage and connecting with fans on a real, genuine basis, and not just trying to slam advertising in people's faces, that's dying. That is clearly dying. It's about the engagement. It's about talking with people, and people see through the fake, slam you in the face advertising. They feel and they like the connected community approach, the conversational approach. You can still sell to them. People are okay being sold to when it's in context and when it's something that has value to them, right? There's nothing wrong with advertising. People don't expect not to be advertised to, but they want to be advertised to in a way that's more friendly and more engaging. And so if I was a sports team, if I was a sports brand, if I was just a brand in general, I would be really levering up on any of my social marketing. I would be levering up on any of my live events, in-person stuff, reaching out to people, even some traditional stuff, right? Like TV, in certain ways. I saw a report actually that came out it was commissioned by Horizon Media and one other company. And they said that TV performs the best out of everything. I genuinely don't believe that it performs the best. I'm still a big believer behind TV. They also said that spending money on sporting events doesn't justify the cost. I also disagree with that. I think that spending money on TV during sporting events is probably one of the smarter plays for TV if it makes sense for your brand. It doesn't necessarily make sense for everybody, but in the right context, the right time, the right brand with the right message, I think it absolutely does. And I think that's what, as marketers, we have to be careful about looking just at the numbers and getting too tied into that and saying, oh, well, this is definitively what it is, because it isn't always just coming down to the numbers. There's a lot of context that is removed when you start doing that kind of research. And I feel like when you look at this in context and as a whole, TV is still powerful, sports are still powerful, but it all comes down to content, it all comes down to engagement, it all comes down to talking and having real, things that are contextually relevant to the people that are your audience and your potential customers. And that's it. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So while your competitors are freaking out come, I don't know when it launches, October, September, I don't know, sometime late fall, when that launches and we see this huge spike in people downloading this ad blocking plugin, assuming that this happens from Apple, while your competitors are freaking out, you can stay calm, go all in on the content, go harder on that stuff, be better about being contextually relevant, having fun with your advertisers, doing the live stuff, in-person marketing, using other methods to market, because who cares? I don't want to see, and nobody wants to see a banner ad on, when they're on Safari anyway. It's garbage. Most of those clicks, in my opinion, are just trying to find the little X. And so you can lever down, man. Go for the jugular, go for it. I think that this is going to really shake out some brands and some advertisers that were once small during this time frame, and 2-3 years from now, when those big brands that are doing it wrong or just don't get it or don't want to adapt, when it finally catches up to them 2-3 years from now, some of these small brands, small companies, small agencies, they're going to be the big new leading, class A guys and girls and marketers. So be with that team. Don't be afraid of this. Use it to your advantage and adapt. It's time to adapt. This is a wake-up call for everybody that it's changing fast, and nobody's waiting for you. I just want to talk real briefly about the carousel ads in Facebook's ad product. I think it's really kind of cool. I don't think it works every single time, but I think if your brand has multiple types of products or different segments of audience that has a large common thread, it's a really great idea because you can get more information across if people genuinely interested, especially on mobile, where you can flip between the different images. You can give people a little bit more context about what it is that you're marketing to them. You can tell a little bit of a story. For example, you have 4 or 5 slides in there, each having a different image, building up a little bit of emotion. You can say more, you can show more in that same amount of space. Now, granted, not everybody's going to flip through those. Definitely not. It's probably a smaller percentage of people. But people that are flipping through that are clearly much more engaged and much more likely to be a potential customer for you. So if you're setting up your segments in, the Facebook ad product really well, and you have multiple products or multiple images and parts of a story that you can sell or show to that specific segment of an audience, I highly suggest using it as part of a Facebook ad campaign and not just doing the one-off Facebook feed posts. I think it's really powerful, and we've been testing it and playing around with it, and we've seen some really good success and actually some lower costs per conversions on certain companies in certain instances. It doesn't work everywhere, but it's something to really pay attention to and start to work into your social marketing campaign and strategy. I think it's powerful. I think it's cool. And it clearly also shows that Facebook is trying to continue to innovate and push forward from the marketing perspective while making it feel contextually relevant to the people viewing it in their feed. So with that, that's my tip of the day. Episode number 11. Thank you so much for watching. I've been really honored at how many people were only 11 episodes in. I honestly didn't think anybody would start watching this till if we hit 50 or 80 episodes. And I've already really gotten genuine feedback from people I didn't know that have found it. We also are in the iTunes store and a podcast, so just search hashtag OUTOFSCOPE. So if you want to listen to it on the go, please download that, subscribe, comment, like on Facebook, share this, and genuinely let me know what you like, let me know what you hate, because we're continuing to optimize our show like you should be doing in your Facebook ads. But no, seriously, we are continuing to grow the show. We're only 11 episodes in. There's so much more that we can be doing and will be doing. And I really appreciate anybody's time for watching this. And yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you so much. A little distracted. I'm not quite caffeinated enough, or completely over caffeinated, which just might be more the case. I think I'm over caffeinated and my brain is just going in like 74 directions.